Hello everyone. In this video, I will be showing you how to make a Flappy Bird type game in Scratch. For those of you who don't know what Scratch is a block-based programming language where you can drag and drop blocks to create projects. It's more of an educational type of visual programming language to teach children how to code. There's also an online community where you can view other people's projects and share your own. Anyways, to get started, go to scratch.mit.edu, which is the Scratch website. Once you're there, you can either create a new account by clicking the Join Scratch button over here, or scroll down and download the offline editor, which is the same thing. If you're using the online version, once you have created an account, you can click the Create button over here to start a new project. So let's start by creating the bird. So I'm going to go to the costumes of this Scratch Cat, and I'm going to delete the second one. And I'm going to clear this one, and I'll draw my own bird. So I'll start by creating a circle. Let's see, about this size, I think. Now I'm going to add a black outline to it, right here, to maybe I think size 5 is good. I'll decrease the circle a little bit though, maybe to this big. Alright, and since I'm making a bird, I'll make it yellow on the inside. So about this color. Alright, so let's see. Now I'll draw the eye. So I'm drawing another circle. I'll make it this big. And I'll position this right over here. Okay. I'll actually make this fill black, and I'll keep the outline. So yeah, now I'm going to draw a beak. So I'll draw 2 lines like this. Okay, and I'll make the fill yellow. Actually, the same color as the bird, so this. And then I gotta make sure the beak is under the bird, so I'm going to shift it backwards. Like that. And I think I'm going to add some legs, so I'll just draw some quick lines like this. And there. So yeah, this is a really quick drawing. I don't want to spend too much time drawing, so that's why I quickly created a bird. So yeah. Anyways, now I am done, and I'm going to go back to the code. And now let's start coding the bird. So I want the bird to be able to jump when I press the mouse button. So to do that, let's go to the events and then drag this when flag clicked onto here. And now let's go to control and then grab a forever loop. And I'm going to drag an if-then statement. And then I'm going to go to sensing. That's where the mouse down stuff is. Then I'll drag the mouse down into the if-then. So pretty much what happens is that when I press the green flag, then this keeps checking if the mouse is down. So now we want to actually do stuff when the mouse is down. So first of all, we want the bird to be affected by gravity. So pretty much when the bird falls, it falls faster and faster over time. So to do that, we actually have to create a variable. So let's go to variables, and let's create one. Let's call this y velocity, and let's select for the sprite only. So pretty much this variable is only, or actually can only be used by the bird. So now let's click OK. And what our y velocity variable is going to do is that it's going to be the speed of the bird in the y position, which is up and down. So pretty much if our y velocity is going to be 3, then the bird is going to move upwards constantly at 3 units. And if our y velocity is, let's say, -10, then our bird is going to move downwards constantly by 10 units. However, we want the bird to move downwards faster and faster, right? We want the bird to fall faster and faster over time. So we're going to actually be changing the y velocity, which means that we're going to be changing the speed in which the bird moves down over time. So it's like gravity. So let's first set the y velocity to 0 when the flag is clicked. And okay, let's make the bird start over here. So that's like, let's go to motion. So negative 172 and 0 in the y position. And then let's see. So what we want is that we want the y position of the bird to be always changing by the y velocity variable, or the speed. So actually, to make this more clear, I'm going to rename the y velocity variable to change in y. So I think that's easier to understand. But anyways, let's go back to the motion blocks. And what I'm going to do is drag a change y block, drag it inside of the forever loop, and then I'll go to variables and drag the change in y variable inside of the change y by block. So what this is that the y position of the bird is always going to change by the change in y. So now we have to set the values for the change in y. So if we press the mouse button, we want to set the change in y by, let's say, 9. So pretty much what happens is that when we click, then the speed of the bird will be going upwards by 9, and it would keep going up. So let's try it out. When we press, then it keeps going up like that. So yeah, but now of course we want the bird to fall. So what we can do is actually just drag a change in y by block and put it in the forever loop. And let's change it by, let's say, negative 0.8. Sorry, negative 0.8. So since there is gravity, we always want the bird to be going downwards. So now let's try it out. Now, as you can see, it works. There's gravity because the bird keeps going down by negative 0.8. And then when we press the mouse button, then the speed of the bird changes to 9. So yeah, that's a really simple jumping script we have right here. And anyways, that'll do it for right now for the bird. So now let's create our pipes where the bird's going to go through. So let's click the button over here and let's create a new sprite. So I'm just going to draw some simple pipes. Let's see. I'm going to draw a rectangle like this. And I'm going to make the pipes green. And alright. And now I'm going to add another rectangle. Put it right here. Like this. Okay, I'll make the pipes a bit thicker. Alright. Okay. Cool. Alright. So this is going to be the top pipe, and now we want the bottom pipe. So let's create a new costume. Actually, let's duplicate this one, and then I'm just going to flip it. So let's select the entire thing, and then let's flip vertically, and now we have the bottom pipe. Alright, so we have the top and the bottom pipe. So let's first name these. I'll name this top pipe, and this one bottom pipe. And alright, let's go back to the code. So, of course, we want a when flag clicked. And what we want is that we want this sprite to be creating copies of the top and bottom pipe, because we're going to have more than one pipe on the screen at any given time. So just to make it easier to manage, we don't want the actual sprite to show. So let's go to looks and then hide the sprite when the flag is clicked. And now we want the sprite to keep creating clones. So let's go to control and then drag a forever loop. And let's go to events. Oh, sorry, not events, control. And let's drag a create clone of myself and put it inside of the forever loop. So it's going to keep creating clones of the pipe. And we actually wanted to create two clones of the pipe because we have a top and the bottom pipe. So if we try it right now, then it's only going to create the clones of the bottom pipe. Oh, of course, the pipes aren't shown, but anyways, if we do show the pipes, let's just drag it when they start as a clone, and also a show. Then the pipes there's like tons of clones of the pipes, like that. But we want this sprite to simultaneously create the top and bottom pipes. So let's actually first create a variable, and let's name this bottom or top pipe, I guess, and make sure to select for the sprite only. This is very important, otherwise it won't work. So select for the sprite only, and then click OK. And now what we want to do is to set bottom or top pipe, and then drag it to the forever loop right before it creates a clone of itself, and let's set it to top. And then let's duplicate this, and then put it under here. And then we want to set bottom or top pipe to bottom, and then it creates a clone of itself again. So I'll explain to you later what this does, but pretty much the clone is going to use this variable to know whether it is the top or the bottom pipe. So anyways, let's add a wait in here. So let's go to events, actually a control, and then let's drag a wait 1 second, and I'll change this to maybe 3 seconds. Alright, and now in the when it starts as a clone, we want to show it, and now we want to add a if-else statement. So let's drag that, and we want to check if it's the top pipe, then it switches its costume to the top pipe costume. And if it's the bottom pipe, then it's going to switch costume to the bottom pipe costume. So that's why we use this variable. So let's do that. So let's go to operators, grab an equals operator, drag inside of here, and let's go to variables, grab the bottom or top pipe variable, put inside here, and if the bottom or top pipe variable is equal to bottom, make sure it's spelled the same as how you spelled it here. But if it's bottom, then we want it to switch costume to bottom pipe. And else, if it is top, then we switch costume to top pipe. So it's as simple as that. Now, let's try this out. It's not going to work, but let's just see how it is so far. So as you can see, this actually spawns the top and bottom pipe, like that. Alright, so now we want the top and bottom pipes to actually be positioned correctly. We want the top pipe right here and bottom pipe right here. So to do that, for now, let's just go to motion and grab a go to, put it after the switch costume to bottom pipe. And for the bottom pipe, let's see. Let's make it go like right here for now. So we want it to spawn at the edge of the screen, right? Because the pipes are going to move from the right to the left. So X position 259 and Y position -212. Alright, and for the top pipe, let's see. Let's make it spawn, let's say right here. So 259 and Y position 54. Alright, so let's try that for now. So as you can see, the top and bottom pipes spawn like this. And now we want the top and bottom pipes to move to the left side of the screen, right? So to do this is to go to control and grab a repeat until block. Let's put that after the if-else statement. So what the repeat until block does is that it keeps doing something as long as the thing in here is true, and then after the thing in here is false, then it runs the code after. So of course, since we want the blocks to disappear after reaching the left side of the screen, we want to grab a operator. Let's grab a lesser than operator, put inside here, and let's go to motion, grab the X position block right here, drag it inside of the repeat until operator, and we want to check If the X position is less than a certain number, then the clones delete itself. So let's see. Let's first show the initial sprite, and let's see right here. So if the X position is less than -237, then the clones should delete themselves. So let's go to control, and let's grab a delete this clone and drag it after the repeat until. So of course we want the pipes to be moving to the left until the X position is less than -237. So let's go to motion, and let's grab a change X by block and put it inside of the repeat until. And let's change it by, let's say, -5. So we want the pipes to move towards the left by 5 units until it reaches the edge here, and then it hides. So yeah, let's try it out. And as you can see, the pipes work like that. And we can like increase or decrease the spawn rate. So maybe you can wait like 1 second, and we can see there's the pipes like this. And they also disappear once they touch the left edge of the screen, and they appear from the right. So yeah, the pipes seem to be working. However, we want spawning in the Y position. So to do that, we actually have to create a new variable. So let's create a new variable. Let's call it random Y spawn, I guess. Random Y spawn position. And let's select for the sprite only, and then click OK. So what we want to do is to set a random Y position for the blocks to spawn from. So to do that, let's first drag this into this forever loop before it creates clones of the pipes. And let's go to operators to grab the pick random and put it inside of the set random Y spawn position. And let's see. Let's deal with this later, but let's see the range in which the pipes can spawn. So I'm going to show the original sprite, and I'm going to do some testing. So let's see. I think the top pipe should be right here around. This would be the highest point it can spawn. So that's Y position 153. And the lowest position for the bottom pipe is going to be, let's say right here. So -284. So for now, let's just put in what was it again? 153, I think. Yeah, 153 to -284, I think. Let's just double check. Yeah, something like that. Alright, so this is going to be the range in which the pipes can spawn. But, oh yeah, one important thing. I think to make this easier, let's go to the costumes and make sure that the pipes are actually positioned where we want them. So, let's say, let's copy this bottom pipe and put it into the top pipe for now. And let's say we want our space to be this big, right? Then we want to make sure that the top pipe and bottom pipe are positioned like this in each of their costumes. So I'm going to move this to the middle, right here. Okay, I think this is the middle. Alright, so right here. So now I'm going to delete the bottom pipe. Or actually not yet. I'm going to first duplicate this, and then I'm going to delete the bottom pipe. And now I'm going to go to my duplicate, and then I'm going to delete the top pipe. And now we don't need this extra bottom pipe costume. So yeah. Anyways, now we have the top pipe and bottom pipe where we want them. And I'm going to first rename this to bottom pipe. Alright, cool. So of course, you can change the space in which is between the top and bottom pipe. So that's up to you. But yeah, let's go back to the code now. And let's see. Let's find our range in Y positions again now. So, let's see. For the top pipe, I'd say Y position 79. And for the bottom pipe, I'd say Y position negative 79. Alright, that works well. So now, because I repositioned these two pipes to where I want them, it's now super easy. So all you have to do is to go to variables and then drag the random Y spawn position into the go to XY in the Y. So let's drag that into here for both the top and the bottom pipe. And now let's try it out. So as you can see, it works. However, the pipes are entirely on the screen, like there's some empty space. But of course, we can go to the costumes and change that, but at least the random Y position works. So as you can see, they're spawned randomly. So to change, or actually to fix the problem, let's go to costumes, and all we need to do is to increase this length of the rectangle. So let's drag this entire rectangle down here, and I'm going to drag this rectangle upwards like this. Alright, now I'm going to select the entire thing and then drag it back up. I think it was right around here. Okay, maybe a bit more downwards. Yeah, about right. Alright, and now let's do the same for the bottom pipe. Move it up here. Drag the rectangle down here. And then drag the entire thing back down. So right around here, I think. So yeah, alright, looks good. Okay, I think this one's positioned a bit to the left, so I'll move it back. Maybe this one a bit to the left. Alright, cool. So now let's run it. And as you can see, the pipes now spawn like this. They're in a random Y position, and the entire pipe covers like both the top and the bottom edges of the screen. So awesome. I think I'm going to increase the gap a bit because I don't think the bird can go through like very easily, or if it's possible at all. So let's increase the gap, and to do that, it's really simple. You just move the top and the bottom pipe upwards and downwards. So the top pipe upwards, like this, and the bottom pipe downwards, like this. Alright, and make sure your gap is equal on both the top and the bottom, compared to the middle, like over here, versus over here. So yeah, it looks about right. Now let's try it. And now the gap is much larger. So awesome. I'll make the bird a bit smaller, I think. So I'll go back to the bird. I'm going to go to looks and change the size, or set the size, to maybe 80. Okay, I think that's better. So yeah, now I think for the bird, it looks a bit like too still when it jumps. So I think I'm going to rotate it when it jumps, so it looks like it's actually flapping. So to do that, let's just go to motion and drag a point in direction and drag it under the if mouse down. And I'm going to change it to, let's say 45 degrees. And what this does is that it's going to change it to like this when it jumps. But of course, we want the bird to rotate back to its original position, which was 90 degrees. So let's just grab an if statement and then put it inside of the forever loop. And let's go to operators, grab a lesser than operator. And we want to check if the direction, which is in the motions, is less than 90, which was its starting direction. Then we want it to turn clockwise, let's say 3 degrees. So pretty much if the bird is like this, then it's going to keep rotating until it faces the right. So let's try it out. Now, as you can see, there is some motion with the bird. So when it flaps, it sort of moves back like that. So I think it looks better like this. And I might change it to maybe turn 4 degrees. So let's try it. Alright, I think that looks much better. So yeah, now let's make a simple lose state. So when the bird touches the pipes, then let's just stop the game for right now. So let's see. Let's drag a if statement inside of the forever loop, and let's go to sensing, and let's detect if touching sprite 2 or the pipes. Then it's going to stop all. So let's go to control and let's stop everything. So let's try it out. And yeah, when it touched a pipe, then the entire game stopped. Alright, so okay, I'm going to first hide all of my variables. Alright, so now let's try it again. Okay, and when it touched the pipe, then the entire game stopped. Alright, cool. Okay, and it's like this. Okay, I think I'm going to add a simple background, so I'll go to backdrops here, go to costumes or backdrops, and then I'm going to fill it, or actually I'll convert to bitmap, and then I'll fill this maybe to a light blue. Let's see, like this, and alright, now we have some simple backdrop. So yeah, this is our completed game. Or actually not completed, but a completed working game. So alright, cool. Let's see. Yeah, this is a bit hard right now, but you know, you can tweak it to change the difficulty to make it easier maybe. So yeah. This is part 2 on how to make a Flappy Bird game in Scratch. In this tutorial, I will be creating an infinite scrolling background and a scoring system. So the first thing I wanted to add that I didn't do in the last video was to make the bird be able to lose when it reaches the bottom of the screen over here. So to do that, it's actually really simple. Let's go to operators and then grab an OR statement, and let's put it over here. So if the bird is touching sprite 2, which are the pipes, or if the bird's Y position is less than a certain value, let's see, if it's less than negative 171, then we want to stop the game. So let's try it out. If the bird goes to the bottom here, then the game stops. Alright, so now that we're done with that, I'm going to start creating the scrolling background. So I was thinking of maybe adding some hills in the background and then making them moving slowly to the left to make it look like the bird is, moving. So let's do that. So let's first create a new sprite. And now I'm going to draw my hills. Alright, so I'm done with my hill. And what I did was that I just made a rectangle across the entire drawing area, and then I used this reshape tool to, add a few points, and then I just moved these points around to make it curvy. Alright, so make sure that the width of your hill is exactly the same width as the drawing area, no more, no less. As you can see, I made this very exact. So yeah, and also make sure that the height of the left edge over here is the exact same height as the height of the right edge over here. Anyways, this will do for now, and let me go back to the code. So first off, I'm going to grab a when flag clicked in the events, and then I'm going to make the hills go to 0, 0. So now it's in the center of the screen, and what I want is that I want this hill to constantly move towards the left. So to do that, let's go to control, grab a forever loop, and then let's go to motion, grab the change x by block, put it inside of the forever loop, and let's change x by -3. Alright, so if we try it right now, then the hill, as you can see, always moves towards the left by 3 units. Alright, so since I'm going to be testing this hill a lot, I'm going to disconnect the code from the chicken and the pipes. So you know, it's only the hill. And I'm also going to hide the chicken. Alright, so now this is just the hill. So yeah, alright, cool. So now that the hill moves, now we want the hill to go from the left edge of the screen to the right edge of the screen once it reaches the end over here. So to do that, let's grab an if statement, and let's put this inside of the forever loop. And we want to check if the x position of the hills are less than a certain value. So let's go to operators, grab a less than operator, go to motion, grab an x position, and let's check if the x position is less than negative 464. So what I did was that I found the smallest possible value for the sprite, which is negative 465, and then I just added 1. So yeah. So once the x position of the hills is less than negative 464, then we want it to move to the right side of the screen. So since I made this hill the exact width of the screen, which is 480 pixels or units, then what I can do is just simply set x to its current x position over here, multiplied by negative 1. So let's go to operators, grab the negative 1 operator, drag it inside of the set x to, and then go to motion, grab the x position, and type in negative 1. Alright, so let's try it out. Once the hill reaches the left side of the screen, then it teleports to the right side. Alright, so it works. It's infinite like this. Let's see it again. And alright, it works. So, oh yeah, one thing I noticed was that it's not very smooth. As you can see here, you can see that it sort of gets cut off early before it teleports to the right side. So I don't really want that to happen. Let's see it again. As you can see, it doesn't completely go off the screen. So that's sort of something that Scratch has. And to actually fix the issue, I'm just going to go to looks and grab a set size to block. And right before it changes x by negative 3 and checks if the x position is less than negative 464, I'm going to set size to 150%. And right after the hill moves and checks for all the stuff, then I'm going to set the size back to 100%. So like this. Before all of your code, put in set size to 150%, and then right after, put set size to 100%. So this is sort of complicated to explain, but pretty much what this does is that the set size makes the hills bigger than it's actually supposed to be, which is 100%. So right before it moves, it can technically go off screen. But then right after it moves, it changes back to its original size. So you wouldn't even notice that it's 150% of its normal size. So let's try it out. And let's see. Now, oh, oops, okay. I forgot to change this to if the x position is less than negative 480, or actually a negative 479. So since the left edge of the screen is negative 240, and the entire size of this costume is 480, then half of the costume size is going to be 240, and then once you subtract 240 from negative 240, then that is the rightmost edge of the sprite at the leftmost edge. So yeah, that was again sort of confusing, sorry, but it should make sense visually. So now let's try it out again. And as you can see, now the hill smoothly goes from the left side to the right side. So let's see it again. And alright, so it works. Cool. And I'm actually going to quickly add a dark green outline because I think the light green is sort of too close to the light blue color of the sky. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly add a line over here. Alright, so I'm done with my outline. I just pretty much added a line, and then I just reshaped it using this tool to fit the hill. Alright, so now I think it looks better. Let's try it again. And as you can see, there's the hill, and then teleports back. So now we need to add the second hill, because once the hill is moving, then there's a lot of empty space, and we don't want that. So to add a second hill, all we need to do is to go to Control, and then create a clone of myself. Alright, and we want to make the clone do the exact same thing as the original sprite. However, the only difference will be that the clone is shifted to the right of the sprite. So let's grab a WinSR as a clone. Then let's go to Motion, and then let's drag this go to X480 and then Y0. And make sure to go to Looks, grab the set size to 150, put it before the go to XY, and then grab the set size 100, and then put it after, since we want the clone to go completely off screen. So yeah. Anyway, since the clone is going to have exactly the same code as the original sprite, we're going to create a block. So let's go to My Blocks, and then make a block. Let's call this Move. Then let's click OK. Alright, now we have Move, and now we want to drag this set size to 150 and stuff like that into the Move. And now we can drag our move block inside of the forever loop. And okay, so my move block did not appear. That sometimes happens, so I'm just going to refresh the page. There we go. So now there is the move block. And let's put this inside of the forever loop. And for the clone, let's just duplicate this forever loop and then put it under the stuff over here. Alright, so now the original sprite and the clone both follow the same code in the move block. So it's sort of simpler because if I want to change something, all I need to do is change this one move block instead of, changing two separate blocks like this. So alright. Now let's see how it looks. So as you can see, there is now a infinite scrolling hill background. And it looks very smooth, and yeah. Alright, so I think there's a tiny difference in the line I just drew, so I'm just going to fix it real quick. Let's see. It's over here. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, you can barely tell that I have two hills. So yeah. Alright, so now that we're done with the hill background, we can add the chicken and the pipes back. So let's show the chicken, then reconnect the blocks, then go to the pipes, reconnect the blocks also, and now we can try it out. And okay, the hills are in front of both the chicken and the pipes, so we want them to go back. So let's go to Looks and grab a go backwards. Let's say 10 layers to make sure that it actually goes back. And now let's drag this in the when flag clicked before it creates a clone of itself. And now it works like this. Alright, cool. Now we have sort of some parallax going on, which is pretty much the hill moves to the left slower than the pipes do. So yeah. Now we have our infinite background, and now we're going to make a simple scoring system. So let's go to the pipes, and let's see. We want to first create a score variable. So let's go to variables, then create a variable. Let's call this score, then for all sprites, and then click OK. Alright, so what we want to do is that if the bird goes past the middle of the pipes, then we want the score to increase by 1. So to do that, we have to go into pipes, and then we want to check if the x position of the bird is greater than the x position of the pipes. So let's go to operators and grab a greater than operator, and let's go to sensing. grab the backdrop number of stage block and change the stage to sprite 1, which is the bird. And now we have our X position of sprite 1. So if the X position of the bird is greater than the pipe X position, so motion and then X position, then we want to go to variables and then change score by 1. Alright, now we want to put this inside of the repeat until, and now as the pipes are moving to the left, it's going to constantly check. So now there's one problem though. Whenever the bird is past the pipes, the score goes up by a lot because it keeps checking and the score keeps going up. But we only want the score to go up once. So to fix that, we can just simply create a variable. Let's name this already scored. So already scored. And we want to select for the sprite only. This is very important for the sprite only. Then let's click OK. And let's see, where is my variable? Alright, so there it is, already scored. So what we're going to do is to first set already scored to no. Because when the pipes spawn, then the bird hasn't gone through them yet. So of course the bird has not scored. So let's set this to no, put it before everything in the if and repeat until loops. And now we want to check if the bird has not yet already scored, then we want to change score by 1. So let's go to operators, grab an and let's grab an equal, and let's go to variables, grab already scored, and let's check if already scored is equals to no. Now let's drag this over here into the left side, and let's put it back. So, of course, it also checks if the bird has already scored, and if it's no, then it changes score by 1. But of course, once it changes the score by 1, then it has scored. So we don't want this to call again. So we just set already scored to yes. So now it's only going to call once. So let's try it out. Alright. And it doesn't quite work. The score goes up by 2. So let's see. I think to fix this, I'm going to make this set before the score changes by 1. Now let's try it again. Okay, still does not work. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is because we have both the top and the bottom pipe. So it acts as 2 clones, and they both check. So what we want to do is either only make the top or the bottom pipe check. So let's only make the top pipe check. So to do that, let's grab another operator, grab an grab an equals, and let's see, check if the bottom or top pipe is equal to top. Now let's drag this into the left side, and now let's drag the entire thing back in. Let me zoom out a bit. Alright. And now it should work. So first it checks if the X position of the bird is greater than the current pipe X position, which means that the bird went past it. It also checks if the bird already scored, and also checks if the bottom or top pipe is equal to top. Then if all of these are true, then it sets already scored to yes, and then it changes score by 1. Now let's try it out. First of all, I'm going to set the score to 0 whenever the flag is clicked, and now it should be good. So as you can see, the score changes by 1 every time. So yeah, alright, it works. Cool. Let me try it again. And yeah. Now I have both my scrolling background and the score counter. The game also ends when the bird touches the bottom of the screen, like this. This is part 3 on how to make a Flappy Bird game in Scratch. In this video, I will be making the pipes go on-screen and off-screen more smoothly, add a number counter for the score, and add a simple loose screen. Anyways, let's get started with the pipes. So if you see the pipes right now, they sort of suddenly appear at the edge of the screen, and they don't really smoothly appear, and they also disappear before they can completely go off-screen, like that. So I'm going to fix that. So let's first go to the pipes, and then let's do the same thing we did for the background. So in the last video, I made the background be able to go on-screen and off-screen smoothly by first setting its size to a larger size than the actual size we want, and then we position the background to where we want it, and then we set the size back to its original size. So let's do the same thing for the pipes. So let's go to the pipes, and then right before it spawns, let's go to looks, and then grab a set size to, and let's change this to like 150%, and then drag it right before, go to XY, and then let's drag a set size to 100% right after the go to XY. And now let's change the X to like maybe 270 to completely make sure that the pipe is starting off screen. And for the top pipe, let's do the same thing. So set size to 150%, put it before, and then set size to 100%, put it after. So let's try it out. And they still don't entirely start off screen. So, okay, I think it should work after we also set size to 150% and 100%. Before and after it changes X by -5. So let's try it out. So let's drag this before the change X by -5, and then drag this after the change X by -5. So now let's try it again. And yeah, I think that works. The pipes, as you can see, spawn from the right side of the screen smoothly. They don't, sort of randomly appear from the edge. So yeah. And now let's fix the pipes leaving the screen. So right now it's still a bit choppy when they leave the screen, like that. Let's see it again. Yep, so still a bit choppy. So to fix that, all we need to do is to change this X position to a smaller number. So maybe let's say if X position is less than -260. Now let's try it out. Oops, okay. Let's try it again. Let me first reattach this. And alright. So let's see. And cool. They also leave the screen smoothly. So yeah, I think we fixed the pipes. And alright. Now that we have the pipes fixed, now I'm going to make a number counter for the score. So instead of using this variable, I'm going to use actual numbers. And that just makes the game look a bit better. So yeah, let's first create a new sprite. And just paint 10 costumes with the numbers 0 through 9. So yeah. And yeah, so now I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 0. So the costume names don't matter, but the order matters. So make sure it's 1 through 9 and then 0 at the end. So alright, now let's go back to the code. And let's first grab a when flag clicked. Then let's hide the original sprite because we're going to be using clones for this. And then let's create a variable. Let's name this, I guess, digits. And then select for this sprite only. Remember, this is very important, for this sprite only, because each clone is going to have a different value for the variable. So if we do for all sprites, then it's not going to work because whenever the variable changes in value, then all of the clones are going to have the same value for that variable. So we want the clones to have separate values for the digits variable. So select for this sprite only, and then click OK. Alright. By the way, if your variable doesn't show up immediately after you created it, then you can just refresh the page and it should show up. But anyways, let's grab a set digits to block, and let's set the digits to 1. And let's drag this after the hide. Now let's go to control, grab a repeat loop, and then let's grab a create clone of myself, and then go to variables, and let's grab a change digits by 1. And this just creates 10 clones, each with a different value of the digits. So anyways, now we want the clones to do stuff, right? So let's go to events, actually a control, sorry. And then let's drag a when I start as a clone. Then we want the clone to show. Or actually not show yet, but yeah. So let's go to control, grab a forever loop, put it under the when I start as a clone, and then we want the clones to go to a specific position based on its digits variable. So let's go to motion, and then drag a go to y position, a go to xy position, and then let's go to variables, grab the digits variable, and then go to operators, grab the multiplication operator. Let's drag the digits variable inside of the left side of the operator, and let's say let's multiply this by 10. Now let's drag this inside of the x position of the go to xy, and let's place this inside of the forever loop. So if I just run this, what this does is that, oops, okay, I need to show the clones for now. So, yep. Alright, so if I run this, then what this does is that it creates 10 clones, and they are all spaced apart by 10 pixels. And this is because each clone has a different digits value. Because when I first set digits to 1 and then created a clone, the clone I created the first time had the digits value set to 1. But then since I changed digits by 1, the next clone I created has the value of digits to 2 now. And if I change it again and then create another clone, then the third clone I created has the value of digits to 3. So that's how it works. Each clone I create has a different value of digits. But yeah, anyways, now we want the clones to show or hide based on the score. So let's say right now the score is 2, then we only want the ones place clone to show, or this one, and then we want all of the other ones to hide. So to do that, let's grab an if-else statement in the control, drag that in the forever loop, and then we want to check if the length of the score is less than its own variable of digits. So let's grab a lesser than operator, and then let's grab a length of, and let's go to variables, and then drag the score variable inside of the length of, drag this into the left side, and check if the length of score is less than digits. So if it is, that means we don't need that number, and then we just hide it. Otherwise, we want it to show. So now, as you can see, since the score was 2, now only one of the digits show. So let's say the score was maybe like 270. Now 3 of them show. So yeah, now we want these clones to show the correct number. So to do that, let's go to looks, and we want them to switch costume based on their digit in the score. So to do that, let's go to operators, grab the letter operator, or actually letter 1 of Apple, and then let's replace the 1 with digits, and then Apple with score. Now let's drag this inside of the switch costume to. Then let's drag this under the show. So based on their own digits, 1, 2, and 3, they're going to show the letter of the score. So 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, as you can see, this shows the correct score. Now let's reposition this to the top. So just change this y value to maybe 150, maybe 155, and I think that's fine. And now we can hide the score variable. Now, I think I'm going to want my score to be in the middle, but however, there is a problem. So, since the score is in the middle, when the length of the score increases, I still want my score to stay in the middle. So right now, it's not going to work. Let's say I set the score to a really high number. Let's say like this. And this score has 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 digits. So let's set it. And as you can see, this number is not in the middle because it's still in the same X position. So I want to fix that so that this number is in the middle no matter how many digits the score is. So to do that, let's grab a length of score. So length of, and then score. And we want this to move back based on the length of the score, right? So now let's go to operators. Grab a multiplication operator. Drag this on the left side. And make sure to multiply this by the same number you multiplied the digits by. So in my case, it would be 10. And now we want to subtract this from the original X position. So let's grab a minus operator, drag this on the left side, drag this on the right side. And oh yeah, one more thing. Since we want the score to stay in the middle, we want to divide this by 2. So let's put this on the left side, and then divide by 2. Alright, now let's drag this inside of the minus operator, and drag this back. So as you can see, the number is now in the middle. Let's try it out. So let's say the score is 0, then it's in the middle. Now let's try 100, still in the middle. Now let's try 1,000, and it's still in the middle. Alright, and just to make this more clear, like these numbers here, I'm just going to create a variable, and I'll just name this space between digits, I guess. Then I'll click OK. And I'll just set this to 10, and then drag this to replace the 10s. Alright, now it's more clear. And it's also easier to change because I can just change this variable to increase or decrease the space. So I think I'm going to increase it to maybe 12. And alright, I think that looks good. So yeah, now let's try it out. And let's see how the score variable works. Alright, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to try to get to 10. Oops. Okay, let me try again. So we have 0 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dang it. Okay, let me try again. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get to 10, but let's just assume that the score variable works based on my testing. So yeah, now that we fixed the pipes and added a number counter, now I'm going to add a loose screen. So right now, when the bird touches the pipes, then the game stops. And that's sort of boring. I want the player to be able to maybe have an option to restart the game. So to do that, let's create a new sprite. And I am just going to create a simple loose screen. Alright, so now I have my loose screen, and this is going to show up when the game ends. So let's go to the code, and I actually want this to be transparent. So let's just grab a when flag clicked. Then let's go to looks, grab this, set color effect to 0, and change this to ghost. And let's change this to maybe 50. Okay, maybe less, so 20. And alright, maybe 15 actually. And now this loose screen is sort of transparent. So now I'm going to create another sprite, and this is going to be for the retry button. Alright, so now I am done with the retry button, and I also changed the loose screen by adding a crying bird. So yeah. Anyways, let's start with the loose screen. Or actually, oh yeah, for the retry button, I want it to be transparent too. So let's also grab a set ghost effect to 15. Let me change that to maybe 25 or 30. Alright, so let's go to the loose screen. So we want to first hide this when the flag is clicked. However, we want this to show when the bird loses. So let's go to the bird, and right here in the if touching sprite 2 or y position is less than -171, we want to broadcast a message to tell the loose screen that the bird lost. So let's go to control, or actually events, and then broadcast a new message. Let's just call this lose, and let's put this in the if touching sprite 2 or y position is less than -171, and instead of stop all, let's just stop this script. So the bird would just stop all of this and stop moving. So yeah. Alright, now in our lose screen, we want to grab a when I receive lose, then we want the lose screen to show. So we just grab a show, and this should be good. Let's also do the same thing for the retry button. So when I receive lose, then show. Otherwise, when the flag is clicked, then hide. So yeah, let's try it out right now. So when the bird crashes into the pipe, then there's a you lose. And we see that the bird stopped moving, however the pipes are still moving. So to fix that, let's just go to the pipes, and then grab a when I receive lose, then let's stop all, and change this to stop other scripts in sprite. So by doing that, it just stops this block over here and this block over here. So now let's try it again. When the bird falls, let's say, then everything stops. Oh yeah, except for the background. So let's go to the background and drag a when I receive lose, then stop other scripts in the sprite. Alright, let's try it out. And now, as you can see, everything stops. Now we want this retry button to actually work, because right now this doesn't do anything. So let's go to the retry button, and then let's see, inside of the when I receive lose, we want to drag in a for loop, and let's drag in if else statement, and then let's go to sensing. Let's detect if mouse is down. Then let's make the retry button a bit darker. So let's go to looks, and then grab the set color effect to 0, drag this inside of the if mouse down. Let's change this to brightness, and let's set this to maybe -10. So this makes it darker. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, sorry, I meant if touching mouse pointer, not if mouse down. So let's actually change that. Let's go to sensing, grab a touching mouse pointer, and let's replace the mouse down. And now let's try it out. So as you can see, it's now darker. However, if the mouse pointer is not touching the button anymore, we want it to go back to its original brightness. So let's go to looks, grab the set brightness effect to, and let's change it back to 0. Alright, now let's try it out. And as you can see, there is a bit of a button touching effect. Alright, so now we want it to detect if the mouse pointer is down, and then we want to restart the entire game. So let's go to control, grab an if statement, put this inside of the if touching mouse pointer, and now we drag the mouse down inside of the if statement. And if the mouse is down, then we want to, let's say, broadcast a new message. So let's go to events and broadcast a new message. Let's just say play. Now let's drag this inside of the if mouse down. Let's also stop this entire script after it broadcasts play so that it doesn't keep on broadcasting play. So let's just drag a stop all and change this to stop the sprite or stop the script. So right now it's not going to do anything. And that's because we need the sprites to restart all of their actions when the play is broadcasted. So let's first go to the chicken, and instead of the when flag clicked, let's replace that with the when I receive play, like this. Alright, let's do the same for the pipes. So instead of the when flag clicked, we want the when I receive play. Then it does all of that. And for the background, let's replace the when flag clicked. And for the number counter, replace the when flag clicked. And then for the you lose, replace the when flag clicked. And also for the retry button. Alright, so now that we replaced all of the when flag clicked with plays, that means that now all of this is replayable. So as long as we call the play message, then all of this is going to restart. However, when we click the flag, we still want to broadcast play, right? Because we want to start the game when we click the flag. So yeah, I'm just going to put this inside of the chicken, and now it should work. So it starts the game, everything works as normal until we lose, and then restart, and everything restarts. However, as you can see, there are some problems. So let's go to the pipes. And I think the problem is because the clones don't get deleted when the lose message is broadcasted. So let's grab a delete this clone after I receive lose. So all of the clones from the previous game should get deleted. Now let's try it again. So when the bird crashes into the pipe and then restarts, then it works. Alright, cool. And one thing for the number counter, it's actually better to probably add a when flag clicked, then do all this stuff, because we only need to do this once when the green flag is clicked. So yeah. Now this should be good. So oh yeah, since there's also a clone for the background, to make sure there aren't any extra clones on the screen when I restart, then we want to delete the clone. So yeah. Now I think this should be good. Oh yeah, okay, I forgot to stop other scripts in this sprite for the number counter. So let's just do that, just in case. So when I receive lose, then stop other scripts in this sprite. Alright, and we don't want to delete these clones because we're only creating them once when the flag is clicked. So yeah, now let's try it again. So everything works as normal. Then when we lose, then there's the lose screen, and then if we retry, then everything works as normal. Oops, okay, except for the number counter. So let's see. Okay, actually, let me just still add a delete this clone after lose, and then let's replace the when flag clicked with when I receive play. Alright, now I think this should work. Let's try it out. So everything works as normal. Then we retry, and it works. Alright, cool. So now we have a replayable game. And okay, what happened here? That's weird. Oh yeah, that was because my mouse pointer was on the retry button. So yeah. But yeah, this works. Alright, let's see. And you lose, and then retry, and then it restarts. Alright, cool. This is part 4 on how to make a Flappy Bird game in Scratch. In this tutorial, I will be making some improvements to the loose screen, adding a countdown text, and adding a menu screen. So first off, our clones of the pipe and the hills don't show up when the game is over. And that's because we delete the clones when the game is over, since we don't want the clones to reappear when the game restarts. However, we still want them to show when the you lose screen pops up. But we can't really put the delete this clone after the when I receive play because it wouldn't really work. So let's just say for the pipes, for example, I move the delete this clone from the when I receive lose to when I receive play. Then if we try it, then we lose and then restart, then there's these clones of these pipes and it still doesn't work. So to fix this, we need to broadcast a message after the when I receive lose, but before the when I receive play. And this way we can safely delete our clones in between the losing and the playing. So I'm going to first put this back. And alright, this also ties in perfectly with making the countdown text, because the countdown is going to happen after the you lose, but before the game starts. So what I was thinking for the countdown is that when the game starts, it's going to show up like a 3, 2, 1 start, and then the game's going to actually start like this. So when the countdown is happening, the game's going to actually be paused. But yeah. So let's make the countdown text. Let's first create a new sprite. And I'm just going to type in the number 3. Alright. I'll make this a bit larger, like this. And then I'll duplicate this. I'll type in 2, duplicate this again, type in 1, and then duplicate this again. Then I'll type go. Then I'll make sure to center this in the middle. Alright, so on the screen over here, it's going to be 3, 2, 1, go. So this is going to be our countdown text. Alright, so currently when the green flag is clicked, we broadcast play. However, we don't want to do that because we want to broadcast our countdown text to start instead. So let's create a new message, and I'll just call this start countdown. Alright, click OK. And then when the green flag is clicked, we want to actually broadcast start countdown. So let's go to our countdown sprite. In our countdown sprite, we want to receive the start countdown. And then when it receives it, we want to first show it. And then let's go to motion. Make sure it goes to XY00, so it's in the center, like this. And then we want to go to looks, and then switch costume to costume 1, which is the number 3. And then go to control. Let's wait maybe 0.5 seconds. And then let's actually duplicate this switch costume and wait. So duplicate this and then put it under. Then we want to switch costume to costume 2, which is the number 2, and then wait 0.5 seconds. And then duplicate this again. Switch costume to costume 1, or actually 3, sorry. And then switch costume to costume 4, which is the go. So it's going to be like this. 3, 2, 1, go. And then at the end, we actually want to hide this. So go to looks, and then hide it. So it's like this. 3, 2, 1, go, and then hide. Alright, so if we try it right now, then we have our countdown. But we actually want the countdown to start the game after it's finished. So at the end over here, let's go to events, and then broadcast play after it finished counting down. So let's try it again. 3, 2, 1, go, and then the game starts. Alright, cool. However, we still want the game to initialize when the green flag is clicked, because right now there's like nothing, right? And then when the game starts, then everything is put into place. But we want everything to be ready when the countdown is counting down, like this. So to do that, it's actually pretty easy. We have to just go to every sprite and then make sure it's in the correct place. when it receives the countdown message. So, for example, in the chicken, we want it to set its change in y to 0, so that's not moving, and then go to this position, and then set size to 80. And that's going to be under when I receive start countdown. So just change that. And then for the rest of the actual moving script, let's just drag a when I receive play. So by doing this, the chicken's actually in its starting position when the countdown happens, like this. Alright, cool. So now time to do the pipes. So let's see. I think for the pipes it's fine because when the countdown is happening, we don't want any pipes to spawn, so the pipes are okay. But let's see the hills. So, of course, when it receives the countdown, we want the hill to be in the middle. So go to 0, 0, and then go backwards 10 layers, so it's in the very back. And I think this is fine. And then we can just drag this back inside of the when it receive play. And let's see how it looks. So the hill's in the correct position. Alright. And now I think the only thing missing is the number counter, or the score counter. So let's go to the score counter. And let's see. Let's change the when I receive play to when I receive start countdown. So pretty much the score counter creates all of its clones, and then the clones show and stuff like that when the score starts counting down. Or the countdown sprite starts counting down, sorry. So yeah, let's try it out now. Oh yeah, and we also need to hide our you lose screen and retry button when the countdown starts. So let's go to our you lose sprite and change the play to start countdown, and do the same thing for our retry button. Change the when I receive play to when I receive start countdown. Alright, let's try it again now. There's the countdown, and then the game starts. Alright, cool. Let's try it again. There's the countdown, and then the game starts. Alright, so the countdown now works when the green flag is clicked. However, the countdown does not work yet when the retry button is clicked. And that is because for the retry button, when the button is clicked, it broadcasts play. But we need to change that to countdown, or start countdown. So when the mouse is down, then broadcast start countdown. Alright, let's try it again. So countdown, and then let's just say we lose the game, then we try, and then there's the countdown. Alright, cool. So we added the countdown, and the countdown seems to work. Alright, but however, we still need to fix the problem with the lose screen, because the clones are disappearing. So to prevent the clones from deleting when the lose screen starts up, let's move the delete this clone into the when I receive start countdown, not after when I receive lose. So let's first go to our pipes, and then where it says delete this clone inside of the when I receive lose, let's change this to when I receive start countdown, and then delete this clone. And same thing for the hills. So instead of the delete this clone inside of the when I receive lose, we drag a, or actually in here, when I receive start countdown, then delete this clone. Alright, let's try it now. So there's a countdown, then let's lose the game, and now as you can see, the pipes show up and the hill shows up. And for some reason our retry button is in the back over here, so I'm just going to make it go to the front layer when the lose is received. Alright, let's try it again. Countdown, and then lose the game, and then there we go. Now we have a fully functioning lose screen. Cool, so let me just try it out. It's like this. And then when the game is lost, then essentially everything pauses and it's all good. Alright, so now I sort of wanted to add a bird knockback animation when the game loses. For example, when the bird crashes into the pipe, the bird sort of jumps backwards like that. So I'm going to add that. Let's go to the bird sprite. And then since we want the bird to do its animation when the game is lost, let's grab a when I receive lose. Then let's make the bird sort of jump. So we want to, of course, change the, or actually set the change in y to, let's say, 7. Now we want to go to control and then grab a repeat until block, put it after the change in y to 7, and then let's repeat until the bird is lower than the bottom edge of the screen. So repeat until the y position is less than, what is it? I think I have it over here. Oh yeah, negative 171. Alright. Drag this inside of the repeat until. And then after the bird is lower than negative 171 in the y position, then it's going to hide. So drag the hide after the repeat until. And then while it's still greater than negative 171, then we want it to just duplicate this. So change y by change in y, drag it inside of the repeat until. And then we want to also make sure the change in y is decreasing. So also copy this one. Change in y by negative 0.8. And then drag this inside of the repeat until. Alright, so let's try it out. So when the bird crashes into the pipe, then it sort of jumps like that. Alright, I think I'm going to make the bird also go backwards a bit. So let's go to motion and then drag a change x by, let's say, negative 1. Then let's drag it in there. And let's try it out. Oops, okay, and our bird is hidden. That is because I hid it over here, but then I do not show it again when the game starts. So let's go to looks and then grab a show, drag it after the when I receive start countdown. Alright, let's try it again. There's the bird. When it hits the pipe, then it does that. Alright, cool. Let's see it again. The bird, when it hits the pipe, let's say here, it sort of jumps backwards. Alright, and I'm also going to make sure that the bird points in direction of 90 degrees when the game starts. Alright, and I think it works. So let's see, oh yeah, I realized that the score does not reset until the start countdown finishes, but we want the score to reset when the start countdown begins. So let's see where the score is set. Oh, right here. Alright, and let's actually set the score when I receive start countdown. Alright, now the score resets to 0 when the start countdown begins, and it should be fine. Alright, cool, like this. Okay. And now I sort of remember seeing some bugs when I was playtesting this game. So let me just try to find them. Let's see. Oh yeah. Right there, when you press retry before the bird is finished falling, it sort of doesn't work like that because the bird is still falling. So let's go to our bird. And let's see, it stops all other scripts in the sprite. So let's put it before everything over here. And that is because when the game restarts while the bird is still falling, then the bird is going to keep on falling. So we need to make sure that we stop the falling bird sprite or script, and then it should work. Alright, let's try it again. So when the bird is falling, and then click retry, then it works. Let's see. I remember seeing something else that was a problem. I think it was the pipes, so let's see. Okay, I don't see anything right now. Okay, that's a problem. So I think when you press retry right after the bird dies, then it doesn't work. So let's try it. Oops, okay, it's right here. So I'm just gonna spam click this. and then yeah, the game doesn't really work. So let's see how I can fix this. Let's see it again. Alright, so that just stops working. So I think the best way to fix this is to just go to the retry button and then adding a wait, let's say 0.1 seconds before it runs the code about the touching the mouse pointer and stuff like that. So I think this should fix it. Let me just try it again. Alright, that fixes it. So when I click it super rapidly, there's no more weird pipe issues. So that's fine. Alright, cool. So I think I fixed all of the bugs for now. Now I'm going to create a simple menu screen. So first of all, I need to create a menu button. So let's just duplicate this retry button. And then let's go to costumes. And I'm going to change this to menu. And that should be fine. Alright, so now I'm going to position this downwards a bit. Maybe right here. Alright, so I'm just going to drag this go to XY. Let's say after the win and receive lose. And for the retry button, I'm going to do the same. So go to 0, 0. Alright, so now I have the retry and menu button. So when I click the menu button, I want it to broadcast a new message. And let's just name this menu. When we click the menu button, we want it to actually go to the menu. So let's go to stage, and then I'm going to create a new backdrop. And this is going to be my menu backdrop. And for now, I'm just going to create a rectangle that's the color white. Or actually, a light blue works too. So like this. Alright. Bit wider. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some text saying menu. And this should be fine for now. Alright, so now in our stage, we want to make sure that when it receives menu, so in events, when I receive menu, then we want to switch backdrop to backdrop 2, which is the menu backdrop, and then when I receive start countdown, which is the game starting with the countdown text, then we want to switch backdrop to backdrop 1, which is our game background. So yeah, right now it should work with just the background change. Alright, and then menu, and like that, the menu changes. However, if we go to the menu, we want everything else to disappear. So let's go to the sprites one by one, and then make sure they hide when they receive menu. So let's first go to the bird. Alright, so let's go to events. When I receive menu, then we want to hide, and then go to control, or actually events, or sorry, control, and then stop other scripts in sprite. Alright, so this ensures that nothing else in the chicken sprite is going to run, and that should be fine. Now let's drag this into also our pipe sprite, and let's add a delete this clone at the end to make sure all the clones are gone, and then drag this into our hill sprite. Alright, drag this into our number counter sprite, also our loose screen. However, we don't need this delete this clone since there are no clones in this loose screen. And we also don't need this stop other scripts in sprite since there are no loops in here, so it's fine. And let's go to, let's say, our number counter, and then drag this into our retry button sprite. Let's take out the delete this clone because there are no clones in this sprite. And I think this should be fine. Oh yeah, also the menu button. Alright. And this should be good. Let's try it out. Countdown and then lose the game, then menu. Oh yeah, this is another bug. When you lose the game right when a pipe is spawned, then the pipe still moves because the stop other scripts in sprite is called right before the pipe starts moving. So yeah, I am going to fix this in the next part of the series though. But anyways, let's go back to looking at the menu. So let's try it again. When the bird loses, then menu. Then as you can see, everything hides and we are at the menu. So now on the menu screen, we want a play button. So to do that, let's just copy the menu button, and then let's go to costumes, change this to play, or actually start, and then let's go to the code, and let's see. In the when and receive menu, we want the button to show and actually do all of this stuff. So we can just take this out and then change the lose to menu, and this should be fine. And then when the mouse is down, we want the start button to broadcast play, or actually start countdown, and then that should be fine. Let's see. Alright, and when it receives start countdown, we want the start button to hide, and also to stop other scripts in the sprite. Oh, actually, we already have it here, so it's fine. Yep, that's good. And I think we should be good. So let's try it out. Oops, okay, everything is gone, or actually the hills, and that's because I need to make sure I show the hills when the start countdown is received, like that. Alright, let's try it out. Okay. Then when the bird crashes to the pipe, and then menu, then there's our start button. Alright, and then when we press start, then there's our countdown. Okay, everything seems normal, and everything seems to work. Now I'm just going to reposition the start button to maybe the middle over here. So right here, that is Y position 23. Alright, and this should be good. Menu, and then menu. Alright. Now, since we have a menu, when the green flag is clicked, we don't want it to start the game, but we want it to go to the menu. So instead of broadcasting start countdown, we want it to broadcast menu. And now, it should be fine. So when the green flag is clicked, it shows the menu, and then we can start. Alright, and our game works like normal. And then when the bird crashes, it shows the animation, and then we can retry. And we can also go to the menu. Alright, so there we have it. We have our basic menu, we have a working retry button and lose screen, and we also added some countdown text. This is part 5 on how to make a Flappy Bird game in Scratch. And in this video, I am going to make the menu look better, add some sound effects, fix some bugs, and re-explain all of the code in the project. Anyways, let's get started. So the first thing I want to fix before I do anything else is that I forgot to make it so that you can't hold the mouse button. Because right now, when you hold the mouse button, the bird sort of floats up. And we don't want that because we only want the bird to jump once when you tap the button. And if you hold the button, the bird still only jumps once. So that's what we want. So to do that, we just actually have to go to Control, and then grab a wait until block, go to Operators, grab a not, and then go to Sensing, and then grab a mouse down. And let's drag this after the set change in Y and point in direction inside of the if mouse down. And now what this does is that after you hold the mouse button down, it runs the set change in Y and point in direction, and then you have to release the mouse pointer before running this again. So now this prevents the player from holding down the mouse button. However, we can't put this if mouse down inside of this forever loop anymore, because while it's waiting for not mouse down, then nothing else would run. So we want to separate this if mouse down from the forever loop, and then let's just go to events, grab a separate when I receive play, and then grab a forever loop from the control, and then drag this if mouse down stuff inside of the forever loop. Alright, now let's try it out. Alright, and then if I try holding, then the bird still jumps like normal. Let me try it again. Like this. If I hold, then the bird still only jumps once. Alright, cool. So we fixed that problem. And something else that may happen when you play the game is that when you lose the game, right when another clone of the pipe spawns, the cloned pipe keeps moving normally across the screen instead of freezing. So let's go to the pipes to see what's wrong. Let's see, what can we fix in here? Okay, let me first try to recreate the bug. So I have to crash into the pipe right when a new pipe spawns. Okay, that was a bit too late. Let me try it again. Okay, a bit too early now. Let me see. Okay, still a bit too early. Okay, a bit too late now. Alright, so I managed to get the bug, and as you can see, the newly spawned pipe keeps scrolling through the screen, and we don't want that. So let's go to our pipes now. And I think what happens is that the pipe creates a clone at the exact same time that the bird loses, and then it's supposed to stop all other scripts in the sprite. But it doesn't stop the create clone of myself because it's the exact same time. And then that ends up the newly created clone not stopping all of its scripts and then keep on going. So that's the problem, I think. So to fix that, we have to create a new variable. And then I'll just call this lost. And then, yep, click OK. And when the flag is clicked, or actually when I receive play, or actually start countdown, let's set lost to no. And then once the bird crashes into the pipe, then we want to set lost to yes. So let's go to the bird, and then right here in the if touching sprite 2, which is the pipe, then we want to set lost to yes, and then do all this. Alright, now let's go back to our pipe. And in the clone of our pipe, we want to make sure that the pipe only moves if lost is equal to no. Otherwise, we want the pipe to pause. So let's go to control, grab an if statement, and then go to operators, grab an equals, and then go to variables, grab a lost, and then check if lost is equal to no. Then do all of this stuff inside of the repeat until. Oops, I'm going to make sure that I also get the set size to 150% in there. Alright, so let's try it out. I'm going to try to make sure the bird loses right when the pipe spawns to see if the problem is fixed. Alright, I'm going to go to project view so it's a bit easier. And let's try it. So let me make sure that the pipe just spawns. Okay, that was a bit too late, I think. Okay, a bit too early now. Okay, a bit too early again. I think I need to be like one frame later. Okay, that was too late. Okay, so I can't recreate the exact problem that we used to have, but I'm pretty sure the problem is fixed. So let's go back inside of the project, and okay, let me first reposition the ULU screen. I think I accidentally dragged it, so I'll just drag it go to 0, 0 after the when I receive lose. Alright, and now that I think all of the bugs are fixed, I'm going to create a better looking menu. Alright, so I am done with the menu, and I separated the title into a new sprite. So instead of putting it inside of the backdrop, I made it its own separate sprite, and that's because I want the title to maybe move around a bit. So yeah, and I also added some sun rays, and I made these a separate sprite also because I'm gonna add some ghost effect because I want the rays to be transparent. So yeah. Anyways, I made the button look a bit better and added some hills in the background, and yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna first go to the sunbeam sprite, and then I'm going to go to control, or actually events, and then drag a when I receive menu. Then I'm gonna go to looks, and then I'm going to set the ghost effect to maybe, let's try 50. Alright, let's try 40, maybe 30. I like 40 better. Alright, and then I'm also going to make them go to the back, so go to back layer. Alright, and I think they look better. And now for the title, I am also going to drag a when I receive menu. Then I think I'm going to make the title go up and down by a tiny bit, so I'm going to I guess grab a repeat, and then I'm going to repeat maybe 10 times, and I'm going to change y by, let's say, 0.5, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and then change y by negative 0.5. And let's see how this looks. Alright, so it goes up and down like that. Okay, so I think we can repeat this. So let's go to control and then grab a forever loop and put this around the 2 repeats, and let's see, and it jumps up and down like that. Alright, also I'm going to grab a when I receive start countdown. Then I am going to hide the sprite and then stop all other scripts in the sprite. So in control, and then stop other scripts in sprite. And also for my sunbeams, I'm going to do the same thing. So when I receive start countdown, then hide. And we don't need the stop other scripts in this sprite because there are no loops in here, so we're fine. Alright, let's see. And okay, our title is gone and we have to re-show it. So let's drag a show after the when I receive menu, and also a show for the sunbeams, and that should be good. Alright, let's try it out. So there's the bouncing title, and when we press start, then the game starts as normal. Alright, cool. So I think this is going to be our title screen now. And let's see. Okay, and now I'm going to make some changes to the You Lose screen. Alright, so this is going to be our You Lose screen. And for the retry and menu buttons, I am going to take out the ghost effect. So I'm going to set it back to 0, so it's fully visible. Alright, and that should look better. Okay, so now we have our updated loose screen. So let's see it again. And our loose screen right here. And lastly, I am going to now add some sound effects. So let's see. Of course, we want a flapping sound effect for our bird. So let's go to our bird, and then let's go to sounds. And now let's create a new sound. We can actually choose the sound. So the Scratch 3.0 editor has a great selection of sounds you can choose from, like all of these. So I'm going to try to find some maybe flapping sound. Let me search it up. Flap. Okay, nothing. Let me go to effects. Alright, so low whoosh sounds pretty good. It sounds like this. So let's select this. And I'm going to first trim this. So let's click this trim tool over here. And I'm just going to trim this much of it. And then click save. And now, let's see. I might make it slower. Okay, a bit slower. Okay, I think that's fine for now. So let's go back to our code. And to add the sound, it's really easy. All we need to do is in our if mouse down, we just want to go to sound and then add a play sound low whoosh. So let's put this right after, and that should be fine. So let's try it out. Now when the bird flaps, there's the low whoosh sound. Alright, cool. So I think that sounds pretty good. And oh yeah, we don't want the sound to play when we're selecting a button though. Like, if we click retry, then the sound still plays. And we don't want that. So let's see. I think in our when I receive lose, we can go to control and then grab a stop other scripts in the sprite. And let's put it right after it receives lose. So this is where the bird sort of jumps back when it like hits a pipe or something. So yeah, now let's try it out. Okay. And then when it loses, there is no more sound. And alright, it works. So our flapping sound works for the bird. Oops. And that should be fine. Alright, so I think I also want a button sound. So when we hover over it, there's the sort of button click sound effect or something like that. So let's see. Let's go to sounds again. And let's try to find the sound. Alright, so I found a good sound. It's called wood tap. Sounds like this. So I think this is going to be when we hover over the button. Let's see. I might make it slower. Actually, this is fine. So yeah, let's leave it like that. Okay, this is fine. Now let's go back to the code. And in all of our buttons, we want to add that wood tap sound. And okay, I think I accidentally added that to the loose screen. So oops. But we can just drop this sound into our buttons like that. So let's do that. And in our buttons, we can now add this when it's touching the mouse pointer. So let's go to sound and then add the start sound wood tap. Let's place this after the if touching mouse pointer. Or actually, let's not do that because it won't work. Because since this if statement is constantly checking if it's touching the mouse pointer, the sound would constantly play. So we don't want that. We only want the sound to play once when the mouse enters the button area. So let's grab a separate event when I receive lose. And then let's grab a forever loop. And we can just grab an if statement and then check if it's touching the mouse pointer. Then we want to start the sound wood tap. And then let's go to control and wait until it's not touching the mouse pointer. And now that should be fine. So this ensures that the sound only plays once when the mouse pointer enters. So let's try it out. That is for the retry button. So let's go to the retry button. And then, as you can see, the button sound plays. Alright, so let's do the same thing for the menu button. Let's just drag this inside of the menu sprite, or menu button sprite. And then that should be fine because the menu button sprite has almost the same code as the retry button sprite, so we're good. Now let's drag this into our start button. Okay, and then instead of when I receive lose, we want this to be when I receive menu. Now let's try it out. Okay, there's the start button sprite. And okay. So this works fine, like that. However, first thing I noticed was that the countdown sprite showed on the menu, so we want to go to events, drag a when I receive menu, then we want to hide the countdown sprite. Alright. And a second thing that I noticed was that when the game starts, you can still hover over the menu button sprite because it's still there. So let's go to our start button in our menu, and let's see. Oh yeah, we have to make sure that when the start button is clicked, we want to also stop other scripts in the sprite, including the button sound effect. So yeah, that's why this was playing, because this forever loop was still going. So now that we added the stop other scripts in sprite, it stops everything in the start button sprite. Alright, let's try it again. So there's our sound effect. And okay, let's see. Oh yeah, okay. So the stop other scripts in sprite also stopped this. So let's just drag this hide inside of the if mouse down, and that should be fine. Alright. And there we go. Okay. Oh, and I think the same thing for the menu button. So we want to stop other scripts in the sprite for the menu button, and let's also drag the hide inside of the if mouse down instead of the start countdown. And let's check the retry button. Okay, same thing. So drag a stop other scripts in sprite. And that should be fine. Oh yeah, let's drag the hide inside of the if mouse down. And let's try it again. Okay. Alright. Okay, our menu button is still there. So let's see. Oh yeah, we still have to include the when I receive start countdown, because when we restart the game, we still have to hide the menu button. So yep, my bad. Let's drag this back. Let's also drag this inside of the retry button sprite, just in case. And that should be fine. Alright. Okay, the menu button is still running. Okay, to fix this, we have to go to Control, and then stop other scripts in the sprite when start countdown is received, and that should be fine. Let's do the same thing for the retry button. So stop other scripts in sprite when start countdown is received, and now let's try it again. Okay. Alright, no more button tapping sound effects in the game. I mean, when the game starts. Alright. And I think that works. Okay, cool. So we have the button sound effect down. And now I think I'm going to add a sound effect to when the bird passes a pipe. Maybe some like high-pitched ding sound effect, or maybe a bell or something. So let's try to find that. Let's see. Let's go to our pipe. Let's see. Yep, so let's go to sounds now, and I'm going to find the sound. Okay, I found the sound effect, and it's this sort of coin sound effect, like that. So let's add this, and I'm just going to trim this to here. And I might make this higher pitched. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think a higher pitch sounds better. Okay. And now this is going to be our score increase sound effect. So let's go to our code. And right in here, when the bird passes the position of the pipes, then we want to go to sounds and then start the sound of the coin. Alright, let's try it out. Alright, there it is. Okay. That seems pretty good. Let's try it again. Alright. And one more sound effect I think I will add is when the bird crashes into the pipe. We sort of need some bump sound effect. So let's go to our bird sprite, and then I will find a sound. Alright, so there weren't any small bumping sound effects, but I think Beatbox 1 will do. So it's like this. So I think I'm going to only use the first part of this sound effect. So when it does this, okay, so right around here, so I'm going to trim about this much of it. Let's try it. Okay, a bit more. Or here. Alright, so I think this much is fine. I'm going to save this. Alright, and let's drag this sound into when the bird crashes into the pipe. So right here, let's drag the start sound of Beatbox 1 inside of the if touching sprite 2, which is the pipe, or if the Y position is less than -171. Alright, let's try it out. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's try it again. When it falls off. Okay, I think that's good. And of course, you can record your own sound effects if you want. You can also find them online. There's some good sites where you can download some free sound effects. But anyways, that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to do some more playthroughs of the game. So this is the menu. Okay, I'm going to go to the project page. Alright. So this is the menu. We have our start. This is our gameplay. Alright. Let's crash into the pipe. Okay. Let me retry. Okay. Let's go back. And let's start again. Of course, you can make the game harder by decreasing the space between the pipes. Alright. Oops, that was some lag right there. But yeah, anyways, that's the entire game. Anyways, that's it for this video, and that's it for this entire series.